The purpose of this show is to guide you to realign with habits that get you to live the life you've always dreamed of. This is the Habit-Based Lifestyle Podcast with Jesse Ewing. This is the Habit-Based Lifestyle, where you can access your full potential right now. Finally break free from destructive habits. That dream life, if you want it, you can have it. This is where you transform your health, mind, business, and relationships. Or do nothing and keep your life the way it is. But if you're ready for change, you're in the right place. This is where you're gonna learn how to live a habit-based lifestyle. You are tuning in to the Habit-Based Lifestyle Podcast with your host, Jesse Ewing. This is the Habit-Based Lifestyle. Let's go.
You cannot create from a foundation of lies. You see, when it comes to establishing these new goals, this new focus begins. These stories of the past, these beliefs, these patterns begin to surface. And the problem most men face today is they are unconscious to what they actually want. They have no idea where they currently sit. And as we talked about in the previous episodes, and if you've listened to any of these previous episodes, the fact is most men have no idea, most people have no idea where they currently stand in their results inside a body, being, balance, and business. So here's the problem. If you have no idea, no clue where you currently stand, you simply are building on a foundation of lies. You simply are building in this place of this foundation of lies. These lies are not normal lies. These are the lies that men tell because they're not true. They're not clear about what they truly want. They're not clear about where they want to go in life. Think about this. What happens when you build goals, build outcomes, whatever you want to call these, on a foundation of lies? There is nothing to build in this place. And I want you to imagine a gap of where you are today and a gap of where you want to go a year from now or be at in 2019. If you're not honest and truthful about where you are today, you end up building in the gap. And when you build in the gap, you build a gap of lies. And what ends up happening is you build in this place and it begins to create this web of lies that you actually trap yourself into. This is the problem with most men, is they build from the gap and they build a trap for themselves that they can't get out of. Now, these lies drive them to sedate on alcohol, drugs, porn, spending money on shit that doesn't matter, spending money on things that external things that they actually feel like are going to help them feel better, but they actually don't. They make them feel worse. And they begin to pop pills and do all these things, smoke, drink, whatever, just to numb the pain out. And this pain doesn't go away. This pain begins to be worse, and it begins to hurt us in a way and trap us in this way that we cannot get out of. You see, in order to establish where we are going, I have to build a foundation of truth today and a future truth of where I actually want to go. And in these two places, I have now created this natural gap. Now, the gap that opens up becomes this gap of leveraging and learning to actually accomplish the goals that I say I want or the outcomes I say I want. Now, if I build from this place, from these lies and half-truths, I'm building from this gap. And I have no solid foundation to stand on. I'm standing on a foundation or a web of lies. And eventually this web, you either have to tell more lies or you come crashing down and you hit rock bottom. And in that place, the only way out is the truth. But if you continue to build on this foundation of lies and half-truths, you begin to fall back into the old patterns, the old stories, and the old programming. Think about this. If you are constantly setting new goals, new outcomes in your life, and you are not hitting them, it's not that you don't want them. It's not that you don't want to hit these goals or outcomes, and it's not even that you don't know how. It's that you're simply lying about where you are today, so everything beyond that becomes a lie. Everything. And that's why you keep coming back to this place. That's why you keep repeating the same patterns of the past, and your results don't change, and you constantly circle back through this karmic cul-de-sac, wondering how the hell you ended up back in the same situation you were in last year at the same time in the same place. This is why 90% of people fail with New Year's resolutions. This is why within 4 to 6 weeks, 90% of people are back to their old patterns, and they're actually worse. So here's the real question. Are you tired of creating from this gap of insanity? Because if you are, if you simply start today on getting clear on where you are and where you want to go in the future, so you can see this gap and see what is real and see what must be learned and leveraged to get out of this place, this natural gap opens up and begins to expose real things that we can work on. Real things that I can learn and leverage to get me out of this gap and begin to build this bridge that gets me to where I say I want to go. Now, this is where I also get to create a new version of me. And if you're kind of confused at this point, I'm going to paint this out a little more. So imagine if I want to lose weight. Now, it's not important. It's not big enough just to say you want to lose weight. First, I must know where I am today. And then I must know where I want to go tomorrow or in the future, whether it's weight, body fat, whatever it is. Now, this natural gap opens up and says, man, I got like 40 pounds to lose. Now, how would I actually do this? This is the question I ask in the gap. Then I could begin to think about all of the things that I could learn. I could hire a trainer. I could learn how to work out. I could hire a nutritionist. I could learn how to properly eat. And I could also leverage the fact that I am hiring a trainer. And so if I'm paying, then I'm much more likely to follow this program. I could also leverage the skill set and mindsets of someone else, like a trainer, nutritionist. I could read a book. I could invest. Think about this. Leverage is about investing. Leverage is about investing. If I don't invest, I don't leverage. I could get a workout buddy. I could find somebody who actually could hold me accountable to going to the gym. I could get a gym membership. I could leverage signing up for a run, a race, or a challenge, because at the end of the day, investing is just leveraging. Investing in that strategy is just leveraging, doing shit that I'll actually say I'm committed to doing. Whatever you choose, figure out how to get leverage on yourself in this gap. The simplest way to get leverage is to simply invest back into whatever I want: time, money, energy. You see, great coaches will expose this gap in you. Then they will assist you and ask you questions to begin to build this bridge to get across where I am today to where I want to go. So here's what I want you to do now. With what you've done in the previous episode, you should have already established where you are today. If you haven't, go back to that episode. Then you must establish where you want to go tomorrow, in the future, 90 days, 1 year from now. And then this natural gap opens up, which is where we are today. These are the things that I must learn to learn and leverage to get across this gap quicker, to get across this gap and show me the things that I must work on. And as I began to figure this out, what things could be learned and leveraged, I began to create the actual how of how I'm actually going to pull this off in the next 90 days of the next year. This gives you an exact plan, and it gives you what things are going to come up for you. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to write down on a piece of paper this gap of things you must learn and leverage, the people you could hire, the skill sets, the mindsets, the books you could read, the things that you could invest in, the races you could sign up for, and begin to write these down so you begin to expose this gap and you begin to see the plan that will actually help you get to where you want to go. Here's the other thing I want you to do. I'm going to leave you with this today. Leave me a review. Shoot me an email if you have any questions or need any assistance with this. You can email me at jesse@habitbasedlifestyle.com. You could also check out my website, habitbasedlifestyle.com, and then there's a link on there. You can email me. But with this being said, it's the first of the year. By the time you're listening to this, it's probably already 2019. If you haven't done this, start with this. Go back and listen to these episodes. I would love to give some feedback. Leave me a review. Shoot me an email, whatever it is. But I will be back next episode with a new topic and something you can begin to work on. Until then, have a great day.
The purpose of this show is to guide you to realign with habits that get you to live the life you've always dreamed of. This is the Habit-Based Lifestyle Podcast with Jesse